and to his son Yahushua, coming to you with another first day of the week breakdown. We say to start, brothers and sisters, off in the spirit. So we know that we got Passover coming up. Like we say, we want to continue to go into these classes to make sure that brothers and sisters stay in the spirit, and making sure that they have their spirits lined up for Passover. The Most High God has many brothers just being proactive on this thing, really kind of going at this thing to make sure brothers and sisters are being prepared for Passover. Not enough to do classes on the Passover, but to also do them before Passover. So brothers and sisters can already be prepared and be in the spirit of Passover, man. Like we said, we had a great class yesterday, even better count. The name of today's class is excuses. We kind of want to address this thing too, because like we said, we know many brothers and sisters give excuses not to do the work of the Lord in the truth. So it's our job to go through the scriptures, pull particular precepts to beat down that particular spirit to where brothers and sisters are not slothful in this truth, man. Like we say, we almost there. Don't faint. Hold the fort. Hold the line, brothers and sisters, man. And continue to be diligent in this thing, man. First precept we want to start with. Like I say, first day of the week breakdown. Not going to be a long class, but we got to touch on, a couple of subjects. First precept we want to start with is the book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 17. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 32, verse 17. And it reads, "A sinful man would not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will." So many times we got brothers and sisters that come into the walk, going into the parable of the four types of Israelites. You got some that come in, bring fruit. You got some that come in, they endure for a while, then they let the cares of the world bring them, take them away. Then you got some that don't produce no fruit. Then you got some that say take them away. You don't want to be those types of Israelites. You want to be that main Israelite that do what? That receive this truth, and guess what? Take this thing 100-folds. Take the fruit and make it grow 100-folds. Not giving excuses and so forth in his walk. I'm gonna read this again. It says, "A sinful man would not be reproved." So a lot of times we know when brothers and sisters come into the truth, one of the main things that we have as a nation of people is we don't like to be corrected. A lot of times we don't like to be called out on the things that we are doing. And many times it's going into sin. It's our job as a nation of kingdom of priests to do what? Hold each other accountable for the sins that we do. Just like I would want a brother to tell me if I'm going off or if I'm breaking the commandments, and bring out the law that I'm breaking. And guess what? Give me the scriptures to put me back in the spirit. These are things, and this is what our job is as a nation of people. That's why our nation is out of order right now. Fathers out of order, mothers are out of order, and children are out of order because we don't like to be corrected as a nation of people. Coming to this walk, that's where you got to take on that humble and meek spirit. And guess what? Take that correction, man. Take it and receive that thing, and guess what? Grow thereby. It's no way around these things, man. I'm gonna read this again. It says, "A sinful man would not be reproved," meaning what? Not corrected. They don't want to be corrected, but find it an excuse according to his will. So since he don't like to be corrected about the sin that he's in, then he starts to find what? Excuses not to do the work of the Most High God. There's many excuses out there for brothers and sisters, man. Y'all know the excuses that they give. I'm tired, or my job, or my family. The Most High God don't give a damn about that stuff, man. He called you into this walk for a reason, and damn it, guess what? You got to fulfill your obligation to the Most High God, man. No matter the cost, man. At all costs, we got to do these things, man. And we can never lose sight of those things, brothers and sisters, man. This is serious business out here. And as we move forward and getting closer and closer to the end, Satan will use that particular spirit to, guess what? Throw brothers and sisters off their game, man. We cannot be ignorant of those things. Go to this next precept. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20. Turn that light up. All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 1. It says, there is a reproof that is not comely. So all correction is not going to be easy going. Sometimes you got to bring the hammer down on brothers. Sometimes you got to bring the hammers down on sisters to get them to understand the seriousness of the work of the Most High God. That's what it's saying. That's what it's meaning right here. Comely. Comely means beautiful. There is a reproof that is not beautiful. Because, hey, correction, hey, it can hurt brothers and sisters' feelings. But the Most High God is, hey, he doesn't give a damn about your feelings. And that's one of the things that we have to learn in the nation of Israel. The Most High God is not about feelings. He's not about emotions. The truth is not about feelings and emotions. That's what America teaches us. Do what you feel. Do what makes you feel good. A lot of times guess what, everything that you do to make you feel good, that's what ain't right. We have brothers out there with those excuses. We don't missing Sabbath class, missing Camp 101, missing Wednesday class, sisters missing classes and so forth, not being diligent to the work of the Most High God. But then you want the Most High God to always be there for you. We have to always do our part on our end, brothers and sisters. This is the book of Sirach again from the top. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 1. There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. Meaning, when it's your time to get that correction, you have to analyze the situation. Now, don't get me wrong. We're talking about brothers in leadership in camps that are bringing out righteous judgment and righteous correction. Because I know brothers and sisters love to you. Well, what if it's not righteous judgment? Well, guess what? You have to prove that thing through the Spirit. But if it's righteous judgment, guess what? You got to be a humble and meek servant, and guess what? Hold your peace on those things. There's no way around it. The type of spirit that you have. That spirit that you have to be slack and slothful, a liar, not being forthcoming, knowing you're supposed to be doing something and you're not doing those things. So a lot of times you have to hold your peace on there, and you can make the things worse with those things, man. Now we're talking about brothers that are bringing righteous judgments. We're not talking to wicked brothers out there that's just bringing judgment according to their will. No, we're supposed to be bringing judgment according to the Most High God's will. And we can never lose sight of those things, man. All praise, man, for you brothers and sisters that's tuning in. It says, verse 2, it is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly. So it's our job as a nation of people to, guess what? Correct brothers and sisters immediately when you see that, than to be holding that anger in. Because a lot of times Satan will play on that type of spirit, and guess what? Stir up your mind, stir up your thoughts to, guess what? Think evil things about your brother. He plays on those things. He plays on our mind. He plays on our spirits. That's why we constantly have to stay in the word and constantly beat down those particular types of spirits, brothers and sisters. Verse 2 again, from the top. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 2. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly. And he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt. Man, that's a beautiful thing when brothers can acknowledge, hey, brother, I was wrong on that. All praise to the Most High. You done gave me that understanding. And what, sister, all praises, brother, for giving me that understanding. Now I can take this and grow from those things. But you have to be aware of those brothers and sisters that, guess what, don't like to take correction. When damn well you're not doing all that you should be doing in this walk. You're constantly making excuses, constantly having mishaps, constantly stirring up things in the congregation and so forth. One of the main things, you just making excuses. The Most High God hates that thing, man. They say he hates a slack and slothful spirit, man. He hates that thing. And guess what? Brothers should hate that thing too. Being slack, being slothful is the reason why we're on the bottom of society now. Even just talk with the brother earlier. You know what I'm saying? And we got some understanding on those things. Like we said, what if brothers in Battle Axe took off, man? Like some brothers take off. Just think about that thing, man. And they kind of sit and meditate on it, man. Just sitting Hey man, I'm not gonna go to camp today, man. I'm not gonna go and teach class today. You know what I'm saying? Like we talking earlier. You know, what if all Israel had that mindset? Then how the hell we gonna get the kingdom, man? You know, the Most High God is looking for vessels that are going to be diligent in this work and that's not going to give excuses, man. We got to keep that in mind, man. Uh, let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 39. Let me check that precept. This is not going to be a long class. We just want to make sure we call out those spirits, man, and get brothers and sisters back in the spirit, man. Have them to pray that spirit off, have them to fast that spirit off. It says, this is the book. This is the book of Psalms. So like you, brothers and sisters. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 39 and verse 11. When thou with rebukes dost correct a man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. So we know, just going into like the book of Sirach said, correction is not comely. You know, and the Bible is specifically saying when you bring that correction, you instantly see brothers and sisters' countenance change. You know, a lot of it come from self conviction, because they know that they're not doing all that they can in this walk. Like we said, when we was in the world, we took it to the 1,000 degree. You know, when you was going to that club on that Friday night, man, you went all out for the Most High God, you know, or for yourself, Salakia. But now that the Most High God done called you into this truth, now you kind of have in. You know, we ain't supposed to be like that, man. We're supposed to take this thing to, man, to the 100 level, to the 1,000 level, to the 10,000 level, man, and keep trying to add and add on to those things, man. You know, like we say, you got brothers that's been in the truth, ain't never celebrated Passover. You know, ain't celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles, not getting their ducks in a row to guess what? Celebrate these things, man. That's out of order. And that thing is wicked as hell, man. You got a brother been in the truth 2-3 years, man. No, not diligently coming to count. Ain't diligently keeping these high holy days. No, these things are very important, man. Not diligently coming to 7-day Sabbath class, man. These things are very important because it's our job to do what? Practice a righteous rehearsal. I'm going to read this again from the top. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 39, verse 11. When thou with rebukes dost correct a man for iniquity, thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth. Surely every man is vanity. And like we say, that thing goes into vanity. You know, we want to make sure, like we say, you got that brother or that strong sister or that strong brother that's diligent in the walk, that's holding you accountable for not putting in the work for the Lord. You want that, and that's why it's very important to gather amongst brothers, man, so you can have that brother to call you up. You know, hey, brother, you read. Hey, brother, you praying. Hey, brother, you fasting. Hey, brother, hey, you diligently going to the Sabbath class. Hey, brother, you diligently doing the work of the Lord. These things are very important in this walk, brothers and sisters. Like we say, I hate to sound redundant, but we can't lose sight of these things, man. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 20. Is that what I want? Yeah, Sirach. No, Sirach chapter 15 and verse 20. And it reads, he had commanded no man to do wickedly, neither had he given any man license to sin. So the Most High God ain't giving us a license to sin or an excuse to just do what we want to do. He's giving us straight commandments, like how we finna get in a minute, to what we need to do in this walk, brothers and sisters. And a lot of these things are plain, but a lot of times we get these things and cast them out. Shalom, brother Gabriel, y'all. Shalom, brother Josiah. A lot of times we cast these things off behind us, man, like they just words on a book. You know, not knowing that the Most High God is going to reserve you to judgment if you're not diligently in this truth. You know, we brought this out yesterday in the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 3. You know, if you're not holding yourself diligently in the fear of the Lord, the Most High God will overthrow your house, man. You know, we see it all the time, man. We see it all the time. You know, I put Romans chapter 6 verse 1 up in there. You know, like the brothers put in there, Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. You know, we need each other in this thing. Like we say, two are better than one. You know, these things are very, very vital for our nation of people to grow thereby. I'm going to read this again. I'm going to start at verse 19. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 15 and verse 19. And his eyes are upon them that fear him. So the Most High God is seeing these things. Man, you got your own personal angel just seeing that you have a slack and slothful spirit, knowing damn well you wouldn't call in on Esau's job, but you had the nerves to call in on the Most High God's job. Man, that's a damn shame, man. And brothers should feel some type of way if you dealing in that type of spirit, man. Like we said, we got to stop playing the games here, man. It's getting closer and closer to the end. Like I said, you go all out for Esau. I'm talking about go all out. Like even Capt Jerubbaal say all the time, man. He tell you had your behind there an hour early. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to have your behind there an hour early. But when it comes to the work of the Lord, then that's when we start to make excuses. Like the Most High God is not among us. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's not physically in this entity here with you. But remember, he always has the angels everywhere watching everything. Remember, they know your thoughts. They know if you really are sincere about doing the work of the Lord, or if you just, you know, kicking a rock down the road and so forth. It says, and his eyes are upon them that fear him, and he knoweth every work of man. He knoweth that work. He know if you really want to be diligent and sincere in his work. He know these things, man. A lot of times our people have gotten so wicked in this world. Like we always say, we accustomed to lying to our damn self. Yeah, brother, you doing the work, brother. Brother, you doing all you can do. Nigga just lying like a mug, man. I'm talking about straight up. We just got to call it for what it is, because that's a nigga mentality, man. You know, we try not to use those types of words, but we got to speak frank. A lot of times we have to use plainness of speech, just like Brother Paul did. You know what I'm saying? We can't play the game so our people can get the gravity of this thing, meaning the seriousness. It says, and his eyes are upon them that fear him, and he knoweth every work of man. He had commended no man to do wickedly, neither had he given any man license to sin. So we don't have that opportunity in this walk. You know, I'm going to get another precept. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 21. You know, one of my favorite precepts, man. I'm going to start at verse 20. This is the book of Salakia. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 20. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of God that is set before them. You know, just think about how many brothers and sisters we encounter when we out there on the streets. You know, brothers and sisters, y'all see the videos. You know, a lot of the times it's the same people, man. You know, me personally, I've been down there on the downtown blocks of Dallas for at least 6 or 7 years straight. You know, and with a lot of times we encounter the same people, and they despise the commandments of the Most High God. We had a sister yesterday call her mama on us. Mama came down and was talking to the transit police officer and was saying, you know, it's the same about black on black crime. You got black males killing each other. And it's like, sister, don't you understand that we're out there to stop that? You know, we're giving her a law. Like we say, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17, that'll kill Israelite on Israelite crime overnight. You know, if you loving your brothers, you loving yourself. We're actually giving solutions to the problems that our nation face. And our people despise those things because what? They are the commandments of the Most High God. I'm going to read this again. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 20. For there are many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of God that is set before them. Like all those Christian pastors, they're going to perish too, because they are teaching against the commandments of God. No, you don't have to keep the commandments. No, man, what scripture says that, man? You know, that's why we say we ought to obey God's words rather than man. Verse 21, for God had given straight commandments to such as came. Meaning what? The commandments that the Most High God has given us, they're easily understandable, man. I'm talking about easily. Like we say, they're straightforward, man. You ain't playing the games with them. You know, go to the Sabbath. Wear your fringes. gather as a nation of people, keep Passover, keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, keep the Feast of Tabernacles, don't whore out your sister, marry your wives, take care of your children. These are straight commandments. And a lot of times our people make these things hard. All you doing is bringing judgment on you, because you will have to pay for those things, man, when you reject and despise the word of the Most High God. Let me get a precept real quick. Let's start one. See if brothers put the precept in there and see, or sisters to see where brothers at. Like we say, this is a learning thing. Hey, it just ain't in class, it's online as well. Let's see, it's a judgment for despising the commandments of the Most High God, man. The precept for that is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 13. And it reads, whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed. So when you're despising the word, meaning the commandments of the Most High God, you will have to pay for that thing. You will be destroyed. The Most High God will literally put you to death, man. That, like I said, that's why he got those thermonuclear weapons, man. Those things are reserved for the 2/3, because those are the ones that are despising the commandments of the Most High God. I'm going to read it again from the top. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 13. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. Meaning, when you fear God's commandments, meaning you do what he say, you will be rewarded for those things, man. We're not doing these things in vain. You don't think that brothers don't get tired? You just have to think of the leaders that's among all these camps, man. They do the work of the Lord first. God they house, work a job, make classes, have to get Passover prepared, have to get the feast days lined up, have to counsel with brothers and sisters on a day-to-day basis. It's a lot on a lot of brothers' plates. And guess what? I welcome that thing, man. Because the Most High God is giving us strength to do those things, especially if it's done in righteousness, man. And it's done for our nation, man. And there's nothing better than doing the work of the Lord to be used as a vessel, man. Brothers got to get off that slack and slothfulness, man, that laziness. I'm going to read this again from the top. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. So we have to use these commandments to do what? To depart from the snares of death. That's why a lot of times brothers and sisters can't avoid certain afflictions that come upon them. We see it all the time, man. Encounters with the police, with wicked niggas in the neighborhood or wicked Negroes in the neighborhood. We see it all the time. Most High God is constantly bringing those afflictions. That's where you have to check your spirit, like, what's going on? Like you say, I love what brother said, and brothers know what I'm talking about. It's a fine line between judgment and chastisement. Oh, that's just chastisement from the Lord. No, brother, that's judgment, man. That's straight judgment, because you know that you are not putting in this work in the truth. So the Most High God to judge you, whether it be your health, whether it be your houses out of order, your children's out of order, financial situations. The Most High God opens up his armory and chooses anything that he wants to, guess what, bring affliction on you, because you're not doing the work, man. We just went through that yesterday in Sabbath class. Let's go to another precept. Oh, let's go back to 2nd Ezra, Salaki. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 21. For God had given them straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live. Meaning what? We have to keep the commandments to live. That's what Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 2. Keep my commandments and live, and thy law as the apple of thine eye. A lot of times, meaning our people don't keep God's laws as the apple of his eye. A lot of times we know about the truth, but we put the Most High God on the back burner. A lot of times brothers and sisters are putting their wives before the Most High God, their children, their job, their car. I mean, that's straight out of order. Remember, brothers and sisters, our first job, our first work, our first love is the Most High. That is our first and foremost job that we have in this truth, man. How do you feel like Most High God, like you said, putting your damn prayers on the back burner? You know, not making them important unto him. Just like how you not making this work important unto him. You know, let me get them, see if I can find that precept. I hold y'all precept. I want something in the book of. Yeah, I want this in the book of Revelations. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 2. And this is going into the 7 churches of Asia Minor, particularly going into the church of Ephesus. Notice one Edomites. These are Israelites that lived in Ephesus, you know, or what they would call modern day Turkey today. Yes, Israelites were everywhere. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 2. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and have found them liars. So you have brothers out here. This same thing is saying like you in the truth, man. I'm in the truth. I call him Yasharallah. Shalom. And then you ask, brother, you keeping a new moon? Oh man, you know them excuses people give, man. We don't heard them all, man. You know, man, we're not talking about people that legitimately have to go to work and so forth. We understand we're in captivity, you know. But the thing is, you want to make sure that you, guess what? Be trying your damnedest not to miss anything else. You know, I have missed some new moons, but all praise to the Most High God, throwing up those prayers. And he gave me another shift where I'm allowed to, guess what? Keep those things. I hate working third shift, but guess what? I gladly work that thing to do what? Keep the laws of the Most High God, man, for real. Like we say, I have to be to work, you know, sometimes at 6 days a week, from Friday to Saturday night. So I work from 11 to 7. So I get off at 7 in the morning. Might I add you, class start at 11. So guess what? I go home, get a couple of hours of sleep. Guess what? I'm going waking up to teach class. You got brothers that get a full night's sleep and still be like, I don't want to make it to Sabbath class, man. I'm tired. Nigga, stop. Like we said, I hate to keep using that word, but man, we got to stop playing the games. Tell me, you got brothers literally got two hours of sleep. Captain Yara, literally 2-3 hours of sleep, then you back right up for the Sabbath, man. Like, for real, stop the excuses. We got to stop those things, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how diligently you got to be towards the Lord. Like we're saying, I know brothers ask, well, how you do it, man? We do it by the strength of Yahweh, man. I'm going to read this again. It says, I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil. Because being slack and putting the Most High God's work on the back burner and having excuses in this thing, that thing is evil, brothers and sisters. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars, and hast borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored and has not fainted. You cannot faint in this walk, brothers and sisters. Verse 4, nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee. Meaning what? They needed to be corrected in the church of Ephesus. Like we say, we always compare this to the Israelite camps. Brothers, especially the leaders, y'all know what goes on in your camps. You know what needs to be corrected, what brother needs to be dealt with, what sister needs to be dealt with, what things need to be addressed in the camps. You know, we can't make excuses about those things either, whether it be in leadership either. No, we can't make excuses, you know, whether they be high-ranking member or low-ranking member. Remember, if a brother is not doing a job and doing his job and making excuses, damn it, the judgment got to go out, man, and the correction got to go out. It says, nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love. Thy first love is doing what? Doing the work of the Most High God's work first. Keeping his commandments. That is our first love. That's our first job, brothers and sisters. And we can't lose sight of those things. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 14. We can't lose sight of those things, man. Like we say, I got a question for brothers and sisters, man. I don't know if y'all done read the book of Revelations, chapter 2, but out of the 7 churches, how many churches were righteous? Brothers and sisters, put the comments in the board. How many churches were righteous? If y'all know those things, put them in the comment board. And name the churches too. That's a little quiz question to kind of test your knowledge, to see if brothers and sisters are paying attention in the videos, because you may be encountered these questions as well, man. So it's good to know these things. Let's go to the book of Romans. I'll give brothers and sisters a little bit, but we're gonna go on a little bit of time to put them in there. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 14. But put ye on the Lord Yahushua, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Making provisions for the flesh is going into you making a way for a cop out, or to commit sin. Because like we say, putting the Lord on the back burner, making excuses in his walk, those things goes into sin, man. Because it'll stop you from coming to the Sabbath, to stop you from wearing your fringes. A lot of times we get on, brothers and sisters, these things are very serious to wear, man. You got some camps teaching you only wear fringes when you're out at camp, man. What scripture is that? It's literally telling you, to wear these things. They are a reminder for you to what? Remember to keep the commandments of the Most High God, man. That's what it's for. I'm going to read this again. It says, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Some brothers and sisters, lust is what? Making excuses in the body, or in the congregation, or in doing the work of the Lord. That can be a provision. Oh, I got to do this, my job. Brother, my bills is piling up, man. It's this, it's that. Well, brother, they're going to keep piling up if you keep putting the Lord second. You know what I'm saying? He going to make that thing keep literally happening. And I understood this when I came into the truth. Even being taught by the brother that taught us, many brothers know. I'm not going to say his name or anything. We learn good things from the brother. We also learn some bad things. We learn to keep the good things that we learned, though. He taught us a lot of good things. But the thing is, I know the brother was always diligent. He kind of taught us to be diligent in his walk, because a lot of times that diligentness comes with blessings. When the Most High God is seeing that you are diligent, he will put it on the spirit of the people that you deal with to, guess what, make your life better lined up with keeping his commandments. A lot of times brothers are not doing those things. So guess what? He's not blessing them. He's not putting on the spirits and on the minds of the people that, guess what, at your job to, guess what, give you those days off. A lot of times, sometimes our people don't even ask for those things either. Hey, Most High got to give us anything that we ask for if it's according to his will, man. Those are the things that we should ask for, man. I'm going to read this right quick. This is the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 2. And it reads, ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. A lot of our prayers are not getting asked or answers because we're not asking for the right things. And it's going to prove this in the next verse. It says, ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss. Meaning what? You're asking and praying for the wrong things. And we said in class, you need to pray that the Most High God keep you diligent in his truth. Keep you with a fearful spirit. Keep you enduring in his walk, man. Keeping you to help go through adversity and so forth. Shalom, brother Ehud. It says, ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. So the Most High God will give us anything we ask for if it's according to his word. Brothers and sisters got to ask the Most High God to make you diligent in this thing, to stop you from having excuses. Well, brother, I just kind of wasn't feeling right. I kind of just wasn't in the spirit. Brother, well, get in the spirit, man. Like we say, it's literally like Yahweh coming to you and asking you, man, hey, why you not doing such and such? And the type of answers that you think you're going to give Yahweh, come on, man. The type of answers that we hear from brothers or that we hear from sisters, man. Come on, man. Yahweh ain't letting that thing ride like that, man. You know damn well he not. Let's go to the book of Matthew. I know the answer to those questions. It was only 2 churches that were righteous in the book of Revelation out of the 7 churches. You know, it goes into the church of Smyrna and the church of Philadelphia for brothers and sisters to have that information. But let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 14. Y'all praise to the Most High. Shoot, just put it on my spirit to even bring this out. You know, that's why we have to search the scriptures daily. Like we say, even with all that I have, you know, I still have to make more time to read, you know, and not make excuses, you know, because like we said, we got to take this understanding and guess what? Teach our people these things. And these questions might come up, man. So it's very important to have a diligent appetite of reading, you know, teaching your family, guiding your household, and so forth. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 16. This is a parable of Christ given to the scribes and Pharisees about them. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 16. Then said he unto me, a certain man made a great supper and bade many, meaning what? He commanded many people to come to this supper, you know, meaning what? This supper is going also into what? The wedding, that we furnish these things according to what? Matthew chapter 22, verse 9. It says, we know that's going into Yahushua, that certain man, and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidding, come, for all things are now ready. And they, all with one consent, began to make excuse. So this is Salakia, the Most High God, commissioning Christ to send servants out into the world to, guess what, get brothers and sisters prepared for that great day, for that feast. You know, it's a feast because guess what, there's going to be some people sacrificed on that day, man. There's going to be a lot of people put to death. We're trying to get brothers and sisters prepared for the wedding. These are all similitudes for that great day, you know, that great day of destruction. You know, what a 144 is sealed, what a 1/3 of the elect is sealed, and put on their beautiful garments and so forth, meaning the commandments, that you may be saved from the destruction thereof. Verse 18 from the top. And they, all with one consent, began to make excuse. So Christ is sending people out to, guess what? Bid people to come in to, guess what? Do the work. And it's literally telling you that they did what? They all came with excuses, man. All of them, man. Let's read some of these excuses. It says, the first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. So this first person said, oh, I got land. You know, I got to, guess what, see to my land first. And now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with land. And guess what? Hey, if brothers and sisters have the ability to buy lands and be able to provide their congregation with fruits and vegetables and so forth, by all means do it. But we got to understand the work of the Lord comes first. He said, go and buy that land. Oh, I got my work to attend to. That's just like brothers are saying with their jobs and so forth. You know, brother, I got my job. I ain't got time for that thing, man. You know, I got to provide for my family. Well, brother, hey, guess what? You got to provide for your soul too, because guess what? If you're not keeping these commandments and make it in that day, what good is that job going to do you when you burning in a lake of fire, man? You're going to be burning right along with the rest of these jobs that's around here, man. You know, it says, the first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and it must needs go, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee, have me excused. So, Lord, have me excused because I got to go take care of some business more important than the Lord's business. Brother, he's the reason why you even have that land, man. The things that we have, the things that we're provided with come from the Most High God. A lot of times we lose sight of those things, man. Just like he easily gave it to you, guess what? He could easily take it back for you, what? Not doing the work and having excuses in this walk, brothers and sisters. You know, we have brothers that have nice houses, have sisters that have nice houses, cars, have nice jobs and so forth, you know, but don't get it twisted. You know, you put the Most High God on the back burner, he'll snatch that stuff away from you, man. Verse 19. And another said, I have bought 5 oxen, so like 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee have me excused. So he said, I got 5 yoke of oxen. Now I need to prove them, meaning what? I need to put them to work. Have me excused, Lord. Always what? Trying to put our jobs before the Most High God, man. No, that's an abomination, man. Most High God, like we just read in the book of Revelations, we have to do that first work. The first work is the Most High God's job. I'm going to read verse 19 again from the top. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 19. And another said, I have bought 5 oxen, so like 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So now you got the third brother that's saying what? Now I done got married. Meaning what? He's putting his wife before the Most High God. So like your brothers and sisters, he's putting his wife before the Most High God. Don't get me wrong. According to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4, marriages is honorable and all. But nowhere does it say in the scripture to put your wife before the Most High God. Come on, man. The work of the Lord comes first, man. This is our first work, man. Let me see if I can find it. Let's hold that precept. Look for one in the book of Hebrews. See if I can find it right quick. Y'all bear with me a moment. Let's see. This is what I want. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 23. And it reads, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. So like it. So like you, brothers and sisters. I'm going to read that again. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 23. It says, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. And this is on two understandings of this Bible verse. Meaning the first is your profession. When it goes into your profession, meaning what? Your job. Like we say, this is our profession. Brothers got to study the craft. We have to be skillful workers in breaking down the understanding of the scriptures to give to our people. So this profession is going into our job. This work is the job that the brothers are commissioned by the Most High God. I'm going to read that again from the top. I'm going to read, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. Meaning what? Without excuses. You can't waver on your job. Like you say, even on your job, just to compare that thing. If you give 2 or 3 excuses, you may get points taken. Some jobs ain't playing that thing, man. You call in and give excuses 2 or 3 times, your behind is fired, man. So guess what? We got to understand that the Most High God is operating on that same level to a degree. Yeah, he may have a little bit more grace for brothers and sisters, but remember, he knows your thoughts. He knows if you're sincere about it. So if you're not sincere about those things, the Most High God ain't gonna play the games with you. You'll be fired, meaning what? You'll have this knowledge and understanding stripped from you, man. It says, for he is faithful that promise. So we got to understand, like we say, Christ is being faithful. The Most High God is being faithful. They're holding up their part of the bargain. So it's our job as a nation of people to, guess what? Hold up our part of the bargain, man. Let's go back to the book of Luke, chapter 14. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 20. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So we know, and like we say, we can't put our wives before this thing, man. Yeah, we love them, but guess what? You have to love the Most High God more, man, in this walk. Let's get a precept real quick. Even when we read that, it's going to show us. I kind of want to just get this as a first and second witness. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Like I said, this is from well-known precepts. So brothers and sisters should know these things, man. Like you said, This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So you can't be putting your family before the work of the Lord. It's no way around that thing, man. Like we say, yes, family is very important. The Bible is all about family, but we got to understand that the Most High God and Christ are the foundation for family. Putting them first will assure you of a good foundation, a good family foundation, brothers and sisters, man. A lot of times you have that. You have brothers that, guess what, don't want to leave their wives, to come do the work, don't want to leave their children. Hey, brother, you commanded to do these things, man. Like we say, what if brothers took off? Hey, I just want to stay home and chill this Sabbath, you know what I'm saying, with my family and so forth. Brother, you got 6 days out of the week to teach them, man. And guess what? You still have that Saturday evening to still teach them. But the work of the Lord come first, brother. Let's go back to the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 20 again. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. Verse 21, so that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servants, go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring hither the poor and the maimed and the Salaki. Let me get it up, my other Bible. Y'all had so excuse me, man. They say you got wear and tear on these scriptures right here, because I don't want to butcher the word. Get that out of the book of Luke. Salaki, brothers and sisters. I have to go to my other Bible. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 21. So that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. When it goes into these things, it's going into what? The sinners of our people, the sick of our people. Because we know when you're reading the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 38, sickness a lot of times is attributed to sin. When you read those things, man. See, a lot of times brothers and sisters that may have health problems may be what? In sin, because they're not eating the right food, not fasting regularly. A lot of times these things are attributed to those things because they're breaking the commandments. Now the Most High God have judged them in that particular sin. Most times, not all the times, because you did have righteous brothers and sisters that sometimes you do fall sick. And the Most High God used that to show his glory. Just like Dorcas, she was a strong sister in doing the work, made garments and so forth. When you read in the book of Acts, she fell sick and she died, and they rose her back up to what? To continue to work, But going back to this, so he sent them out to the highways and byways. That's what our job is. Even when we go back to the book of Matthews, like we say, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, these things are going into the same things. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, be it to the marriage. So it's our job to, guess what, hit the highways, hit the blocks, hit the streets, hit the corners, to, guess what, literally meet our people face to face. So guess what, we can see that spirit that's on them. So we can literally bring out the scriptures to, guess what, get them to wake up and to repent and to come into this truth and to diligently, guess what, bring forth fruit, man. There's meat for repentance. That's what our job is in the nation of Israel, man. Let's go back to the book of Luke. The book of Luke, chapter 14 and 22. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 22. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. So like we say, when it's going into the servants, brothers and sisters should know these precepts, man. What's the servant according to the Bible, brothers and sisters? Shalom, Sister Tammy. How you doing, sis? Put the precepts in the bottom, man. Who is the servants of the Most High God, man? Like we say, brothers and sisters got to be quick on that thing, man, because these are precepts that brothers constantly go into, man. You know, who is the servants? All praise, man. I quick on the trigger, man. Ehud, where you at? You let Brother Tajaya beat you to the punch, man. Hey, brothers got to be quick on them things, man. We know the servants going into, you say Leviticus, going into what? Isaiah chapter 44, you know, verse 1 through 21. All praise, man. You know, all praise, Brother Sakai. You know, brothers got to put those precepts, like we said, because it's our job to do what? Go precept upon precept. You know, to literally show who the elect is, who the servants of God is, who these people are, so we can beat down that Christian stigma that's out there, thinking that anybody can be a servant of the Most High God. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 44 and verse 1. Yet hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Another precept is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. You know, so it's many precepts. Book of Leviticus, chapter 25 and verse 55. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, whom I have brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So we know who the servants are. That was bidden, that commandment to do what? Go out into the highways and compel our people to come in. This is one of my favorite precepts as well, man. I know we hear that all the time, man. We got a lot of favorite precepts, man. It is what it is. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 22. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. Meaning what? We can't make excuses when Christ has given us this commandment to do what? Go out and compel our brothers and sisters to come in, so the wedding can be furnished, man. So we can get the hell up out of this captivity. A lot of times, because brothers and sisters have a good job, that's right, be fishers of men. You know, a lot of times because brothers and sisters have a good job, a lot of times they care about these things, this world. Man, I could care less, you know, what's going on. I pray for my people. I pray that, guess what, the Lord saved the 1/3 of the elect of Israel, so we can get the hell up out of here. So we can actually live what good life is, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. I know Brother Yoel talking about let me eat. Like we say, should we all eat right now, man, with this word? The book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 23. And the Lord said unto the servant, you can put your precepts in the comment board. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. For I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. So it's going into the brothers that was making excuses earlier. Christ is literally saying, I'm going to read this again. See if brothers and sisters can catch that. For I say unto you that none of those men, the ones that we made that made their excuses, which were bidden, shall taste of my supper. So meaning what? They not invited. They not invited to the feast. They're not invited to the supper. They're not invited to the wedding, man. You know, because they was doing what? They was being slack and slothful, and they was giving excuses when Christ gave them a straight commandment. Let me see. Let's go. Let's get that account. Get that precept real quick. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 9. This is the book of Matthew chapter 22. This is the book of Matthew chapter 22 and verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. So that's what our job is, to go out, reach our people, get them to wake up, get them to repent, and acknowledge themselves as Israelites. It says, and when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. Meaning what? He had a brother that was in there not keeping the commandments, not wearing the commandments. Let's get the precepts on those things. Go to the book of Psalms. Let's start out with Psalms. Psalms chapter 132 and verse 9. Because that's what our job is, to be clothed with beautiful garments. You know, meaning what? A similitude for the commandments. And say, brothers can put them precepts in that thing too, man. Psalms chapter 132. This is the book of Psalms chapter 132 and verse 9. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy. Let's get another one. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. The book of Sirach, chapter 27. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 27, and verse. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 27, and verse 8. If thou followest righteousness, thou shalt obtain her, and put her on as a glorious long robe. So we know what is righteousness. Brothers should obviously know that precept. Deuteronomy 6 and 25, meaning what? Keeping the laws. So the Most High God is giving a parable and a similitude for you putting on a glorious long garment to what? Putting on the commandments. Let's get another one. This last one, Job chapter 29 and verse 14. These are all precepts for putting on that garment. (29) and verse 14. So like, this is the book of Job, chapter 29 and verse 14. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem. A robe is going into your beautiful garments, like how brothers are going to be for the Passover, man. You know, a diadem is going into your crown. You know, you want to have these things on. You know, a similitude for righteousness, for the commandments. Let's go back to the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 11, again from the top. When the king came in to see the guests, meaning Christ, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment, meaning what? He wasn't keeping the commandments. And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless, meaning what? He was confounded. You know, it was nothing he can say, because guess what? He knew that he was convicted in his conscience. He knew he hadn't been doing all that he could in this walk. He did what? He gave excuses, you know, like many of our brothers do, you know. So what excuse you going to give in that day when you're approached by Christ and telling him, you know, where your garment's at, you know, where to work, where your fruits of your labor at, you know, where are these things at? It says, verse 13, then said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Meaning what? Bind him hand and foot. The servants is going into the angels, you know, and guess what? Burn them off, kill them, destroy them, man. Because guess what? They had an opportunity to put work in this truth, and guess what? They gave an excuse. You know, we can't play the games when it comes to these things, man. We got to hold fast this word. We got to hold fast this truth, brothers and sisters, man. I know, like we say, we got Passover coming up. We want to bring these things out. Shalom, Brother Fred. We want to bring these things out to get brothers and sisters in the spirit, and to keep them in the spirit, man. You know, that's what these classes are for, to compel brothers and sisters to shake those particular types of spirits, especially that slothful, that excuse spirit. We got to shake those things, man. You know, I pray brothers and sisters was edified with this video. I know we'll probably try to take a few little questions real quick, man. You know, if brothers and sisters have any. But I know, like we said, we get ready to celebrate the Passover. make sure brothers and sisters stand in the spirit, man. We always tell brothers and sisters to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So we always like to bring these things out, man. You know, we say we want brothers to periodically go over these things. You know, to constantly be building yourself up. See what law we want, man. Let's see. We'll get the main precept we always, a lot of times we go to. Well, I get this. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 7. It says, sanctify yourselves, therefore. You sanctify yourself by doing what? Keeping the commandments. You know, that's what separates us. Yes, April 13th at sundown, which would be Salaki, brother. Let's see that. Make sure. Yeah, at even. You know, that Thursday night at even for the Passover. But I want to read this again. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 7. And it reads, sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy. Meaning what? We're being separate from all other nations. You know, we're not taking the time off. You know, guess what? We're doing these things. Questions, the Feast of Weeks comes after. Yes, that's correct. Put it up again and just disappeared. Put the question up. Does the Feast of Weeks come after the Passover? I'm going to read this again from the top while I wait for the comments to pop back up. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your God. It says, the Feast of Weeks comes after the Passover of unleavened bread. Yeah, yeah, it does. Like we say, brothers and sisters can reach out to their calendar, you know, call us, call leadership, give me a call, and I can gladly text you a calendar, you know, so you can keep up, especially for brothers and sisters that are not in the Dallas area where headquarters of Battle Axes is, you know. So you want to make sure that you're doing these things. I know we'll try to announce these things before class. I know we have the habit of announcing them after class. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Mott. Shalom, Mott. Shalom, brother Sammy. Glad to see you on there. You know, we missed your camp yesterday. But yeah, feel free to reach out to brothers, you know, to get a calendar. Like we said, it's our job to be practicing these righteous rehearsals. It's our job to sanctify ourselves and be holy, you know. Sister Tammy has explained a double Sabbath. A double Sabbath is where you could have a new moon fall like on a Thursday night. Then that new moon takes you into the Sabbath. So it will be a double Sabbath. You know, it could either start at the beginning or at the end. So that's one way of having, you know, a double Sabbath. You know, so brothers and sisters have to make that preparation like that Wednesday, because even just like with the new moon or the Passover, like I said, is considered a Sabbath. You know, so that Thursday at even would take us to what? Friday at even. So we know that Friday is even is what? Is the 7th-day Sabbath. You know, it's going into it's different types of Sabbath. Sabbath is going into the holy day. But you have to make a distinction between the holy days. So that's what a double Sabbath is, Sister Tammy. I would say try your best, brothers and sisters, to keep these law, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability. Any more questions real quick before we get up out of here? No, you know, we can cook for the Passover, you know, because we have to prepare the Passover. So that Thursday night, we will be cooking. But, you know, when it goes into the 7th-day Sabbath, that's, you know, when you don't cook, you know. and that's Exodus chapter 16. Cook for the Passover, because it's giving us specific instructions to eat the Passover. So we know from Thursday night to Friday night will be considered a Sabbath, but it's not the 7-day Sabbath. It says, I have a desire is to go out onto the streets. I'm not trying to make no excuses. All praise, brother. And we say that's what it's all about. This thing is about compelling brothers and sisters to come and do the work. Hey, the thing is, you want to get your spirit built up right, among the camp that you're with, and go out and guess what? Compel our people. Y'all may be the last brothers we need to reach that last 144,000 spirit that's out there so it can seal the destruction of the planet Earth. Brothers always got to be thinking in those types of terms, brothers and sisters. And we say we always got to be thinking, man, we're not just laboring for ourselves, but for all them that seek wisdom and learning. We got to have myself, to shake that selfishness spirit. But if there's no any more questions, we'll say shalom, giving our honor and praises to Yahweh and to his son Yahweh Shah. Pray that brothers and sisters edify. Okay, all praise brother Clarence. All praise with that, we say shalom, shalom.